Welcome back to Bibliophiles Audio Files. This is your host, Lydia.
Oh, this is Alyssa. I didn't know we were doing
Oh,
this. We haven't done that
you
in
know
a
what?
while.
I know, but I was listening to a podcast. I'm like, you guys are in your sixth season and you're still saying that. And then they mentioned was like, oh, well, we don't have to say this every time, but they like it, so they're keeping it. So I feel like we could do it. Anyways, so today we are doing letter D in our ABC challenge. We are doing
Woo.
Don't Close Your Eyes by Lynessa Layne.
Another author that we, well, more so Lydia than me, met at the Summerton Book Fest.
Yes, I bought her whole series and I got bookends that are high heels and they're really cool.
I'm 100% jealous of those.
I am in love with those. Anyways, here is the description of the book. A handsome hitman versus sexy seal for the heart of one woman. All-star athlete, beach bunny, and bartender shy of earning her master's degree. Kinsley's worst problem seems to be choosing between an intriguing secret admirer or a crush with the voice of an angel and a devilish reputation. When Kinsley finds herself the target of a notorious biker gang, the world at her feet is trampled by trouble at her doorstep. As a result, both men are not only competing for her attention, but battling a common enemy to keep Kinsley safe.
Ooh.
There are no content warnings anywhere that I could find. So for content warnings, I'm just going to say it does talk about gang violence and it does talk about people dying. So maybe death, but not death of a child or death of a parent. It's very PG-13 death.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. So there's no content warnings. I looked on 5 different websites and couldn't find one.
I've noticed that there's a couple books that we haven't, there's no one who's wrote trigger warnings, and I've had to go back and look at the trigger warnings we've came up with and added them to my review that I posted on Storygraph. So
yeah.
Anyways, reviews. So Storygraph, our main homie, the average rating on this is a 2.23 on Storygraph. There's actually 3 ratings, written ratings. Do you want me to just read all 3?
Yeah, I guess so.
So there's one for 0 stars. I'm assuming that they either did not write a rating or they DNF'd, but doesn't say. But it says main character is a boring pick-me. The 1 star that's on here is okay. I feel like I am dumb. This book was so confusing. I didn't get most of the jokes, and they came out of left field. Did not finish the book. I made it halfway through because the reviews were so good. On Goodreads, average rating is a 3.73. And the 1 star that I picked on this says, story progresses very slowly to the point of being boring. I really didn't like the slut shaming, and I'm not like other girls' attitude that are thrown around constantly in the book. Male characters are flat and mostly depicted as sex-starved and brainless, with the sole purpose of pining for the super virtuous Kinsley. So this 5 star says, I love this book. It was an amazing read that once I started, I was hooked and there was no putting it down until I was finished. It moved along at a great pace, has characters that will grab you and you cannot help but fall in love with them, and a story that will keep you interested from the beginning to the end and leave you wanting more. This has to be on your TBR list, no doubt about it. And that's that. James?
There's some spoilers coming up, sweetie. You better cover your ears.
We met her at Summerton, which we already mentioned in the past, but that's my first note.
My first note was actually, I'm jealous of your bookends she gave you, but my second note, because it starts at the very, very beginning of the book, is that in the beginning of the book, it has a list of all the characters pretty much.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really nice because then you know characters and stuff like that. But I kind of felt like with how long the list was, it was a little overwhelming.
Honestly, it helped me. I'm bad about looking at the signs and not knowing what they are because I'm kind of dumb like that. But
fair.
The one with the 2 guys, the Jace and what's his friend?
Rustin?
The cowboy. Yeah, him. They only had 1 part in the entire book.
I think there's 2.
I swear there's only 1, but we'll say 2 just
I think we
giggles.
argued about this a little while ago, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Kinsley kissed Bailey's cheek and they're friends. So, mwah. Come here, sugar.
Mwah. This is a slow burn, and
Very.
I'm really not the biggest fan of slow burns.
I'm not either.
There's a few that's caught my attention, but this one, it really, I don't know, this one wasn't really for me.
Yeah. I get that. No, I don't like slow burns personally because it's very will they, won't they drama. And I don't like that. I'm not big on drama like that.
That's fair.
But I did see a little bit of the masked stranger trope, especially in the beginning.
Oh, because of Moonlight?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, not super loud, but it's there. Sarah J. Maas has completely sold me on the masked stranger trope. They weren't even strangers after a while. They were just masked.
There was another book that we talked about with the mask.
Yeah, it's about this girl who went to a work party and she's like, I'm just gonna have fun and let loose. And it turns out it was like her boss or something.
No, well, that's one. But no, there's another one. I remember
I think about
because
that one all the time. I'm not gonna lie.
it's one
I
of
think
the
that one
first
was
10.
for the win.
It's one of the first 10 episodes we have. I'm trying to think because I literally just wrote the blog post for that. Maybe it's Finding Cinderella.
Maybe, yeah, because they're not masked, but they are strangers in a dark closet. So that makes
Which,
sense.
because I remember in the episode, you got so mad at me because I was going to recommend you A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's a book you
Yeah.
recommended me. So,
You're welcome. I ruined your life.
yeah. Uh,
Jace was too confusing for my taste. Like, he keeps calling her Sweetkins, and like she's like, oh, he's like a brother. But then he kept kissing her cheek, holding her like they're like, dating and stuff like that. My brother doesn't even side hug me.
that reminded me too, because that's another note I had like further down, is that I didn't like how Jace was calling her baby when they weren't like officially together.
Yeah.
But like down here, like calling people like honey and sweetheart or baby girl
Like
and stuff like that.
that's the South. Yeah.
That's the South, but I don't know. It just, for me, baby seems too intimate, I guess.
Yeah, and then like there's like a flashback at some point where he's like in high school and she's in like middle school. Like she's like 13 and he's like 17, I think is what it was, and he was like calling
Oh,
her baby and putting his arm around her, and it was kind of like ick for me.
it's fair.
Because if you grow up with someone that is younger than you, they should always be a child in your eyes.
Agreed.
You should not be able to grow up and get with him. Like that just seems a little bit too pedo for me.
That's like why I don't like the trope of like a dad's best friend, because it just
Yeah,
feels icky.
wrong. Yeah. Oh,
Um,
I thought it was, sorry. I keep looking at my notes. I'm like getting excited. What did you think about Clive showing all like the little pediatric cancer patients pictures of Kinsley from the newspaper? And they were like, when are you going to bring her by to meet us?
I think that was kind of like sweet, but also like
A little bit weird, but
a
kind of
little
sweet.
weird, but kind of sweet,
Hmm.
because it made them really excited. So I think that was like something
It
nice where it's
did.
just like, oh, they're like, he's like got someone that's gonna make him happy, yada yada, because like he's so nice to us and all that. But at the same time,
Yeah.
it's like they're not even
At this point, they weren't
talking.
even talking. Yeah, it
Yeah.
had been 2 years since he ran into her. So, like, I get that part. But I thought it was really sweet how the kids were like, oh, yay, when are we going to meet her?
One of my other notes, sorry, just segueing.
No, you're good.
I don't remember what happened, but they were talking about being stood up. And I don't know if I ever told you this story, but I've been stood up before.
No, have you?
I have.
Bruh, when?
This was like, probably 2017, I think.
Mhm.
It was actually, yeah, probably like, it was definitely 2017, probably like 6 years ago by this point now, I want to say, maybe. However many years ago 2017 was, because it was literally like
I think it's like
February.
7.
Whatever it is. Anyways, that's besides the point. So it was a guy I met on Tinder. And so at the time I lived in like Central Jersey and he lived in Philadelphia. It was an hour away from where I live. So he wanted to do like a little meet in the middle kind of thing.
Mhm.
And he's like, oh, so like in between where you live and I live, let's go, to this Dunkin' Donuts, get coffee at this place. It's like probably about half an hour away from where I am. And I don't know, I guess I assumed it was about a half hour away from him, but probably a little more than that. So it was a little closer to me. But
Yeah.
anyways, so I forgot to set an alarm. So I woke up and
Nice.
it was just the time for me to leave. And I was like, well, shoot. And so I'm quickly getting ready, got my makeup on and all that stuff. I texted him because usually I completely forget about this. And now it's like a thing where I'm just like, I want to message him and be like, we're still good for, doing
Yeah.
this, right? And so I forgot to do that, but I texted him right quickly and I'm just like, hey, we're still on for like this time, right? He didn't respond. So I leave, I drive, and I get there probably like 15 minutes late or so. And I walk in and I don't see him. And I go order coffee and I sit down at a table and I'm like sitting there waiting. He still hasn't responded. I think we were supposed to meet at 11. So I got there at 11:15. And by the time 12 o'clock rolled around, I just ended up leaving and I went to the Holy Ground, which is Wawa. It's not as fancy as a Buc-ee's, but it's New Jersey's like holy grail, I guess, or whatever. And I got a sandwich because I was starving at that point. And then about an hour after that, he messaged me and it was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I stayed up really late and had played poker with my buddies until like 3 a.m. Maybe
my
we can
gosh.
reschedule. And I said, yeah, maybe. And then we just never talked again.
Oh my gosh.
So that's my stood up story. I was actually relieved because I was kind of nervous because at the time, I think I was 19 and he was 23.
So you're meeting a stranger that's older than you on the internet. He's not answering the day of, and you're just like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, he was 23. So I was kind of like, well, but it's fine. I laughed about it.
Okay,
like, immediately
now
afterwards.
looking back, could you ask a 19-year-old out?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. It's just,
I don't even
ugh.
know if I'm like, 26. I don't even know if I'd ask out a 21-year-old because it just
Yeah,
feels.
they just seem like babies. Like I'm
Yeah.
fixing to be 24 and my cousin just turned 21 and I'm like, we feel like worlds away
Yeah.
because she just seems so young to me.
One thing I noticed about this book, sometimes the scenes were kind of weird in that, like, she'd be doing something and then suddenly it would transfer to her doing something completely different. Like, one scene that really stood out
Yeah, without any break.
was that she was running on the beach, right? And so she's doing her little run, her exercise every morning, like she does. And then all of a sudden she's on like playground equipment doing like this whole obstacle course thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
where did that come from? Because they didn't say
I
like,
don't know if that was on the beach or just nearby the beach.
it probably nearby. Like when we were we went to Navarre, Florida,
Mhm.
so there was a beach and then there was like a playground,
Yeah.
like
So kind of like that, maybe.
kind of like that probably. But it was too like random and it was kind of weird
The
because it didn't
writing, I'll
like,
admit, the
oh,
writing style in this book was a little bit everywhere. So this is the first out of seven, is it six books,
I
but
think
there
so.
is like a little novella, so there's seven technically. Yeah. The writing style does get better because I did thumb through some other books. I haven't had time to sit down and read those yet. The writing style in this one, excuse me, there was like not enough separation, or sometimes there was too much separation. It was kind of like bouncing back and forth between those two things. But her writing style does improve in later books.
Yeah, because that's another thing that I noted too, and I think it might just be that like the formatting between like where it was written and maybe like when it got published.
Yeah,
The
that and the
formatting
printing
got
sometimes can mess up.
Yeah, I think it got messed up because there was times when like paragraphs would get broken down in the middle of in like random spots, or like it'll
Yeah.
be in the middle of someone talking and then there'd be like a paragraph break.
Hmm.
And um another thing I noticed is that there was no separation in dialogue too, where it was like
Yeah.
it'll be like this person talking and then all of a sudden in the same paragraph it would be a different person talking.
It
And
really
there was
could be a
no
printing
like
issue
I'm
because the
pretty
later
sure
books
it's
are
probably
not
what
like
that
that at
is.
all.
It was
Yeah.
probably a printing issue for sure.
Hmm.
One note I made too. Sorry, I
Hmm.
feel like I'm like taking over.
No, I feel like I'm taking over, bro.
There was a note that or something she said where she said date men not boys, and that's 100% true.
Oh my gosh, yes. There is definitely a fine line to any girls or women, honestly, that are
100%.
listening. There is a big difference.
100%. I don't think this was a comment that Kinsley made, but I think it was a comment someone else made about Kinsley because they were
Mhm.
asking about her. They said she might be like nervous about graduating college, and I can 100% relate to that because like in high school, like I was graduating and I knew I was going to go to college, so it basically was the same thing. It was just going to school, and then I ending up being in like thousands of dollars of student debt because I have to pay to
Mhm.
be. But once you like get to college graduation, it's kind of like nerve-wracking because it's like, okay, well, where do I go from here? Especially with me having such a generic, what do you call it, degree, and
Mhm.
not really knowing where I wanted to go from there. But I had like the tools and the resources, and obviously like a bunch of professors who were really nice and would have been able to help me and guide me into like where to go. Unfortunately, and this is something I've noticed too, in like both in high school and also in college, is you get like counselors, like assigned people who can like assist you with stuff. There really isn't any when you get a guidance counselor, there's usually not anyone who's really good at being
Mhm.
like guidance counselor. Like there's your rare, I don't know, whatever you want to call a rare flower, who's like really good at doing that. But a lot of the ones that I've been assigned were just not good at it. Like they didn't feel
Yeah.
helpful to me, and that sucked. I know there's a couple professors that even if I reached out to them now and been like, I need help, they'd definitely come and help me.
So she got drunk on the clock, and Rustin and Jace took her home, like to her house, which is she lives in like an
Yep.
apartment above her parents' house.
Yep.
And so she was like dancing around in her underwear in the kitchen the next morning and was like basically
Yes.
had, just wearing a bra and panties. And they were like sitting there watching her. And then she went to go take a shower afterwards. And they were talking about her like she was a game to play and a trophy
I
to win.
I don't like that.
That made me so mad because two of my exes, both of my mentally and physically abusive ones, that is the way they referred to me to my face. Was that I
Oh, I
was a
don't like
trophy
that
to
at
be
all.
won. Yeah. No, one of my exes, for this, the Jace guy reminded me of one of my exes so bad to the point where I almost had to put this down. But honestly, I would maybe put narcissism as a trigger warning, but I don't know if that was her point. It just came across that way because that was how he treated me and how he talked to me. At
Mhm.
one point he told me that we were going to get married and I was going to be his trophy wife and was never going to amount to anything without him because he was better
No.
than me. Yeah. So
Mm-mm.
like, no, like being talked to like that and then reading something where they refer to her as that was really triggering for me.
Yeah.
But no, I did not
Understandable.
like that at all. That made me see red, honestly, when I read that part.
That's understandable.
I
100%.
really like them, which is the thing is in the book, like the guy's like mysterious. She doesn't know his real name. They refer to him as Moonlight, so I'm just gonna say Moonlight. I really liked him. Like everything that was written from his POV, I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I honestly like, because there's a couple guys she's pining over or are pursuing her or whatever. If I were
Hmm.
to pick one, Jace is nice and all, but like I feel like I don't know, there's just something about the mysteriousness of Moonlight that I like a lot.
I think we just like men that we don't know anything about.
Yeah, pretty much. There's this one quote that Jace had that I really, really loved. It was Valentine's Day, and they're at the bar, and he goes up to her. He says, "Sorry, I didn't get you anything. I thought something homemade would do the trick." And then he kissed her, and I'm like, that is
That was
so.
terrible.
Are you serious? Because I thought that was so sweet.
Jace, yeah, Jace did that. And I was like, and it wasn't terrible, it was just cringy. Again, I've had an
I get
ex do
that.
that. Ugh.
That's fair. I think both my exes were like that, where they're just like,
I
"Oh
mean,
well."
why did men, honestly?
And like at that point, like we'd been dating, like both of them. I'd been dating for them for like a couple months. So it's like, well, why do you think we wouldn't do
Yeah,
something? Like even if it's something
really.
small, like so I
Like,
can understand that for sure.
yeah, like let's go get Taco Bell or something, like anything.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I really enjoyed Moonlight, and like I can't wait to read the rest of the books. I'm not really a slow burn person, but I do want to see what happens with him, and I really hope that she ends up with him in the last book because I really like him. I love his backstory and like his perspective and thoughts on everything. And he's the only person that treats her like an adult. Everyone else treats her like a baby and like a kid.
Yeah.
He's the only one that tells her to grow up and to be a woman. And I'm just like, you know what? You're right.
Respect. That's a
Respect,
man.
man. That's a man. Yeah, because he's like, you need to stop chasing boys. You need to start going for men. I'm a man.
I
No,
do got
I
a
love
question.
that. Oh, what is it?
How does Jace's sister, I forgot her name, but it was a weird name to me,
Hmm?
not know about them being Jace and Kinsley kind of like dating-ish? Because
I
everyone's
don't
talking
know.
about it, but how does she just not know?
It mentioned like, oh, this is my best friend's brother and all that kind of stuff, but she was only in it. The only time I remember her being in it was during like a flashback sequence whenever
Yeah.
they were in high school or whatever. I don't remember seeing her. Well, no, I think she was there one time through the entire book for a
It was like
present
one or two
event.
times, but
Yeah.
still, like everyone was talking about it, and like the last time she was mentioned, like she was, like, that's when Kinsley was like confiding in her about like the whole situation between Moonlight and Jace and all that stuff, and it's like, how
Hmm.
does she not know that with everybody talking about it, the way
Yeah, I
Jace
think
is
she
treating her and stuff,
may
like,
have always suspected it because, like, they were that way when he was in high school. When I mentioned earlier, they were at their house whenever she was, 14. He was like 17,
mhm,
and he's like put his arm around her and stuff. Like, the sister was there, so she had
right,
to see it. I just don't know. And, that's another thing that was kind of lacking. It never really talked more about the best friend, the college,
yeah,
the athletic career. It only talked about her being on the beach sometimes, bartending, and then the guys.
yeah,
But I really
uh,
wish it would have went more into her and not just,
that stuff she does.
yeah, yeah,
How many notes do you have left?
none.
Oh, okay. So one of my last notes says, because it was something that was mentioned in the a book. It was about roundabouts and like Yankees having them all around.
Yes.
Shouldn't they know this stuff or not that? And I'm like, yes, Yankees do have roundabouts. Like there's so many. Like when I would drive to the beach, which was like 45 minutes away, I'd have to go through like 3 roundabouts if I had to go to a certain way
Yeah.
or if I was going to a certain
Man, when
beach.
we went to
But
Ohio and you were driving and we went a roundabout, that was the most stressed I have ever been in my life
really, because like roundabouts aren't that bad. But yes, Yankees have
before
roundabouts, but
Ohio.
no one knows how to use them. Like it doesn't even matter.
Yes.
There's something people drive every single day. Like people just don't know how to use them.
They
But
just go and hope everything, turns out all right.
I mean, pretty much. They're either
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna go and hope for it, or they're like me, where they're like, I'm gonna just wait because like I don't trust people, and
Yeah.
I'll take my time and wait until like I know there's a very good safe distance between me and the car that's coming or approaching before I
Yeah.
go. Although there's times when I'm just like, well, just screw it, let me go. You know,
Yeah, that's too stressful for me, honestly.
it's fair. It is stressful, especially when you've never done it before.
I know. Yeah, like people can't do four-way stops down here. I would love to see if they do with a roundabout. I don't have any more notes except for the smelling trope was in this one, how she kept saying like I can smell his cologne and stuff. She's like low
Uh-oh.
key going crazy, overthinking she smelled it. She
Yeah.
would get like random whiffs of it, but that was like, I don't like the smelling stuff though.
Yeah.
I have one buzzword.
My comments, I'm going to try to speed read this. Maybe formatting didn't transfer well because paragraph breaks where they shouldn't be in multiple dialogues in one sentence with no differentiating. No, to me, it kind of felt like there's no big conflict slash resolution in the story because,
Yes.
there's no like, this is like our issue and like, here's the resolution. It felt more kind of like a world building kind of thing where it's like you're introduced to the characters.
Yeah, that's what my
And
buzzword was introductory to the series.
and I don't really like slow burns too much.
I don't either. Like I understand, this wasn't my cup of tea, but like it probably is somebody's, and I am going to read the rest of the series because I bought them all and I love Lynessa Layne. So
What'd you rate it?
a 3.75.
2.5 out of 5. It just, to me, it just wasn't for me. I don't know. Like it was.
It wasn't either. Like it did have a really interesting story that I can't wait to see more about.
For me, I think it's just the formatting of it kind of threw me off and it made it less enjoyable than I'm sure it probably could have been.
Yeah, no, I do see that, but the other books are better, so definitely gonna read those.
Beep, 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 beep. Breaking news, this just in. These two are idiots. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Man, we really got to practice more on the Zoom stuff.
Probably a little bit.
So the reason why it sounded so rushed and now it's not is because it's only letting us record in 30-minute increments, and we usually record 45 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So some of these episodes may seem rushed. That just means we're not together in person because I've had strep throat.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. I've had strep throat twice in the last 3 weeks, but the first time I had strep throat, I had flu with it.
Yeah, that's nice, ain't it?
So, oh my gosh, yes, I'm like absolutely thriving.
Anyways,
So, welcome back to Bibliophile.
we need to close out this episode.
Yeah, okay. So I gave it a 3.75 out of 5. My buzzword. Oh, no, we already did that, didn't we?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we have an email at bibliophiles audio file. Nope. Biblio. Sorry. Man, I can't get it now. I've lost it. The groove is gone.
It's biblioaudiopod@gmail.com.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so tired.
The Instagram is Biblio Audio Podcast.
Mhm.
And we got a website at Biblio, not at Biblio. The website is biblioaudiopod.com. There's more content on there now. I'm starting to try to add more and more as we go along. Once I catch up on all the episodes for the blog, there'll be more regular and it'll be nicer, to
Yeah, get to
have
work.
like episodes, I'm trying. It's hard, going back and listening to all the episodes and picking up my favorite parts. Like,
yes. Oh my gosh. I know there's so
process.
many good ones. We're so funny.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Well, thank you for listening to this absolute train wreck of an episode that we were trying to do.
yeah.
I mean, a bunch of stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sorry we haven't recorded. That's my bad. I can't stop getting sick.
A little bit of both of us, but
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye.